And before we do that, I want to kind of set a scenario if we would change the parameters of what's going on with Fender, how we would feel and how we would respond to what they're currently doing. Let's imagine for 2 minutes that Fender was doing this right now, but they had been on the scene for 10 years. So imagine they were a fairly new company. Everything that we know from Fender, all their designs right now, were basically done in the last 10 years. No one had thought to design guitars like that before. How would we feel if that same company that was fairly new, was still small, didn't have the legacy and the iconic perception that everyone attributes to them right now in how the company is in 2026? Let's say they were much smaller and they were fighting against everybody, kind of ripping off their design, ripping off their ideas. Would we be as critical of them if they were much smaller? Now, some people would say that is a stupid way to look at it because Fender, if they were smaller, wouldn't have the money to bully people into submission. They couldn't take everybody to court. And that's my point. That's the point I'm trying to make, is if they were in the same predicament, but were much smaller, didn't have all the resources they have now, would we still tell them that they're greedy? Would we still tell them that they're bullies? Or would we look at it like, good on them, they should stand up for what is theirs? Because the way I'm looking at it is, yes, you can look at Fender as being this giant corporation. They can have all the lawyers in the world and they can play a dirty game that nobody else can play within the confines of the law. Or you could look at it like if it was happening to your favorite small company that is building awesome guitars and everyone was ripping them off and they were fighting for what is theirs. Would you champion them or would you tell them to sit down because they're being greedy? That is the angle that I'm considering here, because yes, when you purchase Fender, you don't have just the name Fender, you have the legacy that comes with it, you have all the trademarks that come with it. Is it wrong for them to fight for that? People are saying, well, they've tried that in the past and they lost. But that doesn't mean it's set in stone. They can still come back and fight it some more. And at some point, it just takes a judge to go, okay, I don't see a problem with you guys fighting for this. It's yours. So everybody else, go to court and fight for your design and hope that the law is not too hard on you, which is not a fun position to be in when you've been building guitars that are based on those classic Fender designs, like the Strat or the Tele. You're doing your own versions of that with some modifications, with some improvements. Which brings us now, considering that point of view, if they were small, would you be okay with them doing this? Compared to now how a lot of people criticize Fender because they are titans fighting the small companies. This brings us to look at what's good for Fender, what's bad for Fender, what's good for us, and what's bad for us. And by us, I mean everybody else who's not Fender. So